it's Jean from Inky Studio. Welcome, or if you're a first-time viewer, and welcome back. Today we're going to be working in part 4 of the Edith Holden folio, and I'm just going to be adding some little extra more elements to it, decorative. Before I get started, I did want to thank Shannon for buying me a cup of coffee. Thank you so much, Shannon. I so appreciate your generosity and kindness. It really is very encouraging for me. So thank you, Shannon. So today we will, I'll just show you what I've done so far, because I've done a few things off camera. Down here I have the Tim Holtz bracketed, I don't know what it's called, pocket. And I put a little piece of cloth down here and did a die cut. I got his die cut with the different little botanical die cuts on it. And I put that there, and so I made some little tags to go in there, and I pretty much just went through my scrap pile of the Edith Holden cut-offs that I've gotten from, cutting other places up. And just simple stuff like this is really cute. I didn't feel like it needed anything. It has a nice little pretty flower, and what I like about these little cut-offs is that it gives you like a detail look at her drawings, where you're not your eye just goes into one particular object in all her drawings. So I like that, and I just left it this way. Put a little bit of a put in a little eyelet and a little bit of cloth, and then the word cutoffs can be used. I just put a fussy cut flower over it, and did the same thing up here with a little bit of seam binding. And this one here is a little plain. I did add a tab with the words, and you don't have to have this punch. You can just take, there's no reason you can't just take, and fold it over and then just make a little square tab up there. You could do that for sure. And so I'm just going to add to this one a fussy cut butterfly to dress it up a little bit, so I'll just do that really fast. Kind of thought this green looked really nice with the rest of the tag there. So yep, so there's a little tag there, and so I've got these 3 here. I might end up with more, just depending on how full this all gets, but for right now I have these 3 tags sitting in here. And so now we come to this part right here, and what I have envisioned is a glassine envelope that I'm going to put down here to make a pocket. And for the tag on the inside, I kind of thought that words would be the best, because there's not, in this layout, there's not any words. So I felt like I wanted a background of words in there. So that's the tag. There is a part of a poem on here, which is kind of nice too. I'm going to real quickly glue this envelope in, because I am going to be using it. So I'll just glue her in like so. I'm going to put it above my stitching, so the stitching, at least the stitching on the bottom, will show. Alrighty. And so to make the envelope flap close, I am going to, I punched out a little tiny medallion. I got it from this page. Don't know what page it was, but it's a page that has all 3 and 4 in a row. I think it had, on the other side, it had frogs. So anyways, I went ahead and did that, and I'm going to just glue like the bottom half of this, like so. This little button. And put it down so that this top part can slip behind it. So that would be the little closure here. I think this is really cute. So we'll just put our tag in, get an idea of how that is going to appear. I like that look. And then I want to add a little something to it, perhaps a floral. And I had this as one idea. It is fairly bright. It is brighter than her drawings, but I felt like perhaps the brightness, you know, might come through the glassine bag a little better. But then I also have this guy to deal with. And let's see, maybe this would be the best, because I can position this down in the corner and have it come through where I'd like it. So I might go ahead and use this one. It kind of matches her artwork a little bit better. I could also use a larger one, but I'm going to go with this one. Yep, I'm going to go with that one. And I'm going to put on some cheesecloth as a bit of a backing there. Let's see some thread in here. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put just a little bit of cheesecloth down here in this general area. And get it stuck down. So I always have to be a little careful where I put cheesecloth at, because if you put it on the tag that's going to be sliding in like this, it can catch on it. But this will be good. I think it will be just fine here in this envelope. And I'm just going to cut a bit of it off. Kind of spread it out. And put down my flower. Yeah. Yeah, like that. I think that'll look really nice. And you do have to kind of press it down a little bit so it all soaks through the cheesecloth onto the tag. I'm going to put in, so you want to use a glue that dries clear. Fairbetech would probably be shiny through some of this cheesecloth. Alright, so I'm just going to put this right inside here. There we go. So that will be the little card in there. And then I decided over here I would put a pocket. And I took some more words, and even though the Edith Holden paper is pretty thick, I mean it's a sturdy paper, I backed the entrance of the pocket with some cardstock, because I just wanted to reinforce that, you know, a little bit more. And then I stitched around it, which is of course decorative. And I'm going to put this little pocket over here. Now, I think I mentioned before that I like to try to preserve some of the poems, just because that was just part of, you know, who she was and what she did in her time. You know, that was a big thing to do during that Edwardian period. And so here's a poem. It's not the complete poem, but it is a couple of verses of it. I thought, well, that was really a nice thing to do. Kind of preserve that. And you might want to, and I didn't do this, and now I think maybe I will, go through and read the different poems and find ones that you really enjoy, and make sure that you find a place for them like this. That would probably be a good idea. And then I'm going to use an offcut for the tag and back. And I think for the tag, I will be doing more decorations on the tag, and I'm going to leave this plain. I might, if I find some lace, I might put some lace down here. Now, I don't like to put lace in until I've totally finished, and then I can go around and trim it with lace. For the most part, that's how I tend to roll with that. So, and over here, yeah, I'll probably glue these in, these die cuts over here. I'm really enjoying these die cuts. It took me a while to get these, you know, before I really felt like, oh, will I use them, will I not? But I am, and I'm liking them. So I'll do that later because that's kind of boring to see me glue. Over on here, since this is pretty boring drawings, I'm going to put a pocket over here, and I think it kind of helps tie in the paper. And this paper, in case you're wondering, is from Graphics Fairy premium site, and it's called Leaf. Let me look at that name again. Leaf Natural Paper 3 Be Like Boy. That's what this one is called. There's a series of different leaves that are cut this way, or different kind of leaves in this kind of pattern. And so that's where that comes from, just in case you are wondering. And I'm going to make a slant pocket here. So the first thing I usually do, let's see, I think maybe I want to use this side here. I usually mark off a square that's going to be as tall as I want the slant pocket to be. That's about like that. And then leave just a tiny border around it. So I'll just mark there, and I'll mark, let's see, I'll probably stitch the pocket, so I'll mark it down there. So I'm going to cut this square out first. And sorry I'm off camera, but it's such a large cutter. And I do that first, and now what I like to do, I mean, one could just make the slant this way. I like to put a little bit more sturdiness into it, so I am going to put down here, measure 3/4 of an inch right there. You know, I want the slant to go this way. So 3/4 of an inch there, and I'm going to measure from the opposite bottom up on another 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to cut between this and this. I'm going to make my slit right here. So let me do that. All right. So I feel like this just gives it a little bit more sturdiness, and it also, if you just sew or glue along here and here, there's more room to slip it in. It's not quite so tight, because I have found that when I cut it from corner to corner and I glued and sewed it, it was tighter to get my tag on the into the inside. And this way you've got a little bit of room for it to kind of wiggle around. So I don't know, that's my theory, that's why I do this way, but you know, you really need to do the way you like to do it. So just putting that out there, and I'm going to go ahead and ink this up and sew around it. So there's my pocket all glued in and sewn around, and I'll be putting a tag in there, and it will cover up some of this a little bit more boring drawing. And on this side, the leaves are nice, but I have got some more offcuts here. And what I thought I would do is put a belly band in here and slip something underneath it. And just trying to think, of which one I might want to use here. This actually has the word. It's kind of cool. These have words too. And then there's this one here. Now I'll be cutting skinnier than this. I think I'm going to go with this one here. And I'm just really, I know I've said this before, but I'm just having such a good time finding out where I'm going to use all these scraps that I get. So I am just going to mark that there and mark it, well, I guess I'm not going to use that word. It's kind of a small word. I'll just mark it this way. Okay, let me just cut that off quickly. So that's that, and I might not glue it in right here on camera because I might have to sit and think about that. You know, kind of what I have to do. I have to marinate my idea sometime. And I do believe that that is probably where I am at as far as that goes, and the rest I'm going to do off camera. I'll complete the tags and I'll put lace in here and trim it up and do all those type of things. So, and before I do that though, we have to think of a closure. So what you have to think what kind of closure you want to put in. For me, I'm going to put in a tie closure. I do believe that that's the easiest. So I have a seam binding here that I'm going to be using. Crinkled seam binding. Really got a crinkle job on it this time. Maybe a little more than I usually do. I have to smooth it out a little bit. So to get this crinkled effect on seam binding, I soak it in, tea, of course, and then when I take it out, I bunch it all up, just bunch, squeeze most of it out. And then I take a rubber band and I start wrapping rubber bands around it so it all stays in like a little ball. And then I have to leave it overnight and sometimes a little bit longer to like fully dry. And then when you take the rubber bands off, you've got the crinkled seam binding. So that's how I make that. And you probably could use that, with other things too. Probably, I don't know, I've never tried it with sari silk. I'm thinking you probably could. Probably could do it with cloth. All right, so let's get the middle and glue down our and I'll put in some fabric tack in here and get this glued down. I'm sure there's other ways, well, of course there's many ways probably to close it. I like the look of this, especially for something that is kind of shabby chic and vintage looking. Yeah, I like to add just a touch of frills to something that's botanical. I kind of like that look. And this is our front. Yeah, I really like that. That looks really nice. Really nice. And if you want to do something, now is the time. If you want to put in something that requires a brad, if you want to put in a plate, whatever you want to do that's going to require you put something on the back, now would be the time to do it, of course. And I am just going to get in here. So when I put glue over stitching something I've stitched, I like to make sure that the fabric tack gets right over the stitching, because that will hold it in place and keep it from running. And that's one of the reasons I like sewing before I put something in, rather than to sew it rather sew it to the foundation. I like sewing it before, and that way I can glue the stitching and really reinforce that. So there you go. And I'm going to do the same to the back, and I won't do that in camera, but this is going to be the back. So I see our time is up, and next time we get together, I'm going to be showing you how I put in make the little journal that sits inside, and how we glue all this together and put in our eyelets and just finish it right up. So that'll be the next time we get together. Thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing so that you can see the final flip throughs of both of these. They're each a little different. So thanks a lot, and we will talk to you later. Bye.